first part of your last training day for this session, and we're going to review a lot of stuff today, and I'm going to tell you about some bugs that I have found that need to be corrected, which we will correct. It's a matter, Craig, my programmer, he's been laid up with his back hurt. He had surgery a week ago Thursday, and he's just not feeling worth a hoot. So I don't expect him to do anything while he's sick until he gets to feeling better. So we'll just have to suffer with this thing. I don't think it's going to be much of a loss because of the Marauder incident. And so first of all, I want to remind you guys that in trading, as with any other semi-gambling activity, there are no absolutes. In other words, I don't care if Pittsburgh is better than Arizona in the Super Bowl and they're favored by whatever X number of points. If they play 10 times, Arizona's going to beat them once or twice. So there's no absolutes, and there's no 80% the favorite wins, and if the spread's right, then they'll beat the spread half the time. So there aren't any absolutes in trading, and the things I'm trying to teach you are methods that will keep you out of the dangerous parts of trading, whether you're trading widgets or gadgets or stocks or whatever you like to trade. This max system method, I'd rather call it the max method. Systems don't work all the time, but methods do work, and they will stay constant and consistent because they would have to completely change the pricing structure of whatever commodity it is that we're trying to chart. The max system is going to work. Max method is going to work. And the system part of it is, the method part of it is static, and the system part of it is dynamic, and that can change as we tweak it from time to time, and people invent better things that we can throw in there to the pot and make the stew taste a little better. So, for instance, I added last week, I added the daily or the chart times and the trading times for the various things. Well, some of you guys don't like them, and some of you do, and it's not something you may want to use. So you don't have to use it. I'm not telling you have. You've got the max method. You've got everything set up to where you can trade, and if you want to use this with the chart or these trading session times on the screen, that's wonderful, and we found that for you. And if it'll make your life easier, it does. The thing I like about it, it acts as a trend line. This tells you where the high is with just by glancing at the chart. This tells you where the low for that time period was. If you look right there, that tells you the high for the London session. This tells you the high for the American session. It tells you the low for the American session, which is about the same as the open for the Asian session that we are now in. And that's something I like about it. But I think there's probably a better way to do it than cluttering up your screen. I'd like to see just a box with a line around it, and there is one out there, but it's got to be fixed. As soon as Craig gets over from his back operation, he'll be fixing stuff for us. And so anyway, I just wanted to point this out to you, and I'm not going to dwell on this chart today. As a matter of fact, I'm going to close this MT4 chart because it's making binging noises because I've got the binger set on a couple of things here. So what we're going to work on, if I can get it open now, here it is basically where we started last week. And this is the same chart, except it doesn't have the trading session times on it. Everything's the same here. I've just been playing around with some of the indicators today, just making some adjustments in times and things. So get your questions out here today. Like I say, there are no absolutes, and if I tell you that something works, that means it works most of the time. And if I tell you something doesn't work, that means it doesn't work most of the time or at all. But almost anything will work some of the time. I don't care how good or bad an expert advisor is that you pay $97 for. Sure, it's going to work part of the time. I enrolled in a deal last week for $20. The guy was giving these trade calls away on Forex Truth, and you opened the trade on Sunday and you closed it somewhere around Friday. Well, what I found out, and of course he had been doing 2,000-3,000 pips on his calls. Now that meant several. He'd have 10, 12 pairs that you would trade, some up, some down, and this, that, and the other. But so I decided, well, heck, I'll just take a look at it because everybody's saying he's doing a pretty good job. Well, so far he's down 2,700 pips this week. Now, that's the week I get in on it. Now, this is on a demo account. I absolutely don't bet my money on something until I can try it out, tried and true. But and even on a demo account with penny pips, it's down. I'm down $54.83. Now, in $10 pips, that would be $5,437. But I'm using 2 baby units. For instance, I got a trade open here with the euro pound, and opened it, bought it at 95.10, and it is at now 93.09. That's 200 pips down, and it's down $5.68. So, the week isn't over, however, but I wouldn't sit there with that. I would have been stopped out on all of my trades, but I'm not using a stop just to see what it will do by the end of the week. Again, it's a test, so. There are no absolutes. This guy was pretty high on his stuff, and I'm going to send him a post this evening and ask him. I said, well, how come I'm down if your posts are so good? How come every single one of them is at 0, and one of them is plus 37 cents, which means that's 2 pips, the way I've got it set up. And then that's the only one. There's one at 0 and one at 37 cents from profit. The rest of them are all in a fairly large loss. So much for that. That's the guy from the Texas Pip guy. And that was from the Forex Truth. And I'm not bad rapping. I'm just simply saying the facts. But it happened the week that I got in on it after him advertising it for 3 weeks free. And I paid $20 for the next month just to see what it'll do. And I'll test it every week. And so you guys don't have to waste your $20. So there we are. Now here's your normal max chart. As you can see, these are the indicators right there that give you a binging sound when you cross the home base of 23. So it's set. I've got the sound turned off on all of the stuff that I'm visualizing here today. Parameters. Well, that's the 233. That's not the indicator. There it is, a crossover alert. Let's see. Yeah, I've got the sound turned off on everything, I think, on everything on this computer. So I didn't trade at all today. I've been working on some other stuff and some client business on other things. But if you'll see, we'll look here, this is just a warning that price is messing around home base. So this is an indicator that you should get to your computer. Now, on the 5-minute chart, it's only an hour or so before you'll probably have a max trade unless it consolidates for more than an hour. I think we probably got about 2 hours involved here on this chart. The binger went off right there, so before your max turned in, there was 26, so there's 2 hours and 10 minutes before you'd have an actual trade. So again, there's your home base. The Mo line is under the other, so your max would actually be there. Chances are, since this is coming off of home base, I won't wait for the max to cross those two. But the safest way, I'm not telling you, I'm saying this is where the max trade would begin after the yellow line, the Mo line has crossed all three, or crossed the other two. And also the non-lag moving average has got a little gap there between that and the 21. So, yeah, Texas Pips at 4F Truce, that's the name of it. So here would be your Mo entry, and you go right up there. Of course, it doesn't do very much here, but there would be your exit, and it's not a primo. It could be a primo, but it just came off of that. But sure, you could do a primo here, and exit when it chart gets back down toward the Mo line. So you'd make a few pippies there. 30 pips. And so that's a day's work right there. And then you got a chance to get it. You got a Mow entry right here based on your indicators, and I'm doing what I tell you guys to do. There's the vertical lines, and there was your vertical line on that high part. Tells you things that that's a place to get out because those are all at the highest place. They're all going to go down from there. So this tells you to get out from your trade here because that's at the bottom right there. That's going down, and then the next line. So let's move that right there to where the blue line is telling you that there's a chance it's going to go back up. You've got a new entry for the mow right here, or a mow right there going up. That's going up, and if you'll notice, the Vanini is on its way up, similar to where the TDI would be. And you enter the mow, but then you've got a new pre-mow right here. Price has gone through the crabgrass. You've got that's not quite, you've got right there's a little inside doji, so that's telling you that this is, chances are you've got a good pre-mow here. And so you go right down and exit here when it starts going sideways. Now, as long as the non-lag moving average doesn't change color, you're a pretty safe position. Me, I don't like to trade, and I don't like to stay in a trade when I'm getting consolidation, stuff like that. So that would be, but I'm telling you that you're pretty safe. But I just don't like to mess with a trade because there's just too many of them, too many good ones out there, that I just probably would get out somewhere along in here and take my 20 or 30 pips and go on down the road. I've got better things to do with my time than sitting to watch a trade that's going to do this. I can set my stop and go on about my business, but if I'm sitting here at the computer, I usually watch them pretty tight, and then it turns right back into a mow. You wouldn't have made much by staying with it. You might have made maybe another 10 or 12 pips by staying with it, but it's not worth it to me. I'd rather wait and get my new mow coming right here and see, look, how price has been doing. It's been kind of lollygagging around here. So you got a mow, and then you got another exit. So none of the mows did much today from there. Now you also, but that's not a primo place because you're only 2 tunnels away from home base, even though that would be the best of all of them. And it's stuff like this that makes you want to take a chance and gamble, and that would have been 40 pips. But it's not worth it to do it there. So please don't mistake me in marking that and tell you about it as a recommendation. 3 tiger tunnels away minimum, and those are almost always good for 10 to 40 pips somewhere. So it's going to pay you for taking the time to make the trade is what it amounts to. Any questions about that part? What do you use for a primo stop loss? Yeah, I had a post about that this morning. Now, if you just look here, look at this first primo here. Your stop would be somewhere around the top, above the top of those, but you can't put a stop that close on MetaTrader 4. That's only about 15 pips. So I would probably boost it up there and set it up to where it's at least 25, 30 pips. I hate to get stopped out on a good trade. On a bad trade, sure, if it's going to, but I hate to get spiked out. So I put it back here 25 to 30 pips to make sure I'm safe. And that probably looks to me about like 25 pips. It's 33 pips. Set it back there. On this one, see, you don't have any room from where your entry is. It's almost at the peak because we're doing tops and bottoms here with the primo. So that's probably only about that's just barely 17 pips. So raise it on up. Raise it on up to about 30 pips. And don't be stingy on these things because almost all of these, even if you'd have put this one here and stayed with this one, it would have still been okay if you hadn't have gotten out and started a new one. But see, you got out at the best possible place, which was the first sign of trouble. You didn't have to ride through all of this crap here and take a chance on a big spike to wipe you out. Okay, yeah, everybody clear on that? Please use preferences to select black font color. Move your cursor to the right side of your screen, Stephen. Screen goes to the sea of patience. Well, I can tell you about that. I've got the whole thing on my screen. Okay, now, any questions about that? I'm going to show you something that I designed strictly for Eusebio and those scalpers out there. And is Eusebio on here? I'm sure you are. Eusebio, are you still using the 21 scalper? If you are, I'm going to go over it. If not, I'm not going to cover it. Are you using the 21 scalper? If so, how often? Okay, well, I'm going to cover it then. Okay, this is something I designed. Now look at this primo before we leave this chart. Look at that. Is that not beautiful? See, you got an inside bar right there after it, or it's close to an inside bar. And there's an inside bar right at the very top. So you got an absolutely perfect primo. And you get in the minute that price drops below that non-lag moving average, you can enter on that bar. You don't have to wait till that bar closes. The safe way is to wait till it closes, but I don't wait. If I've got all of this stuff here telling me, hey, there's something going on here, I'm going to make that extra few pips, because if it ends right there, at least I've made my play for it. Now, if you'll notice, this goes, the red stays on even through this. You don't have to, you could exit half your trade if you wanted to be safe. Then it goes clear on down and sits itself right there. That pin bar pointed downward tells you it's going to go back up here. So that was a nice preemie trade. That one was almost 100 pips. You do not write it back up. You do not write it back up. There would be your first entry on this part of it if you wanted to take the Mo part of it, but after that bar, I probably wouldn't. But see, you got another preemie right there, because price went through, and you got those pin bars telling you it's going to go down. You got a nice, beautiful sideways movement there. You got an inside bar right there. You got an outside bar here, there, that tells you this is all telling you it's going to go down. And look where this one goes without any danger at all. It was 120 pips. See, these things are as powerful as the Mo in their own way. But see, when you get into a trend here, here's your Mo back here. I would have ignored all those to take this trade. You would have had an MX here, somewhere here. You would have had a Mo entry right here, right there. You would have had a scale in, or scale in, not a Mo, but they're the same thing. You'd have a scale in right there, scale in right there, potential scale ins. I'm not saying they're all scale ins, but you don't know that this is going to go back down. But then it goes back down here. You got a scale in. You got all kinds of scale ins here. Probably this would be the best of the bunch right there. And then it goes right on back up. This would be a place to do another MX or maybe an XXX, depending on, look at that, that's telling you. This is telling you that it's at a high, but it's also telling you that with the Vanini being up there, that's telling you that it's probably going to continue. And when the SRO drops below that Vanini, but the yellow line and the green line are up here high like this, what that's telling you is probably this is going to continue for a while. So if you do an MX there, and then you've got a scale in off of that ledge, you got a scale in off of this ledge right here, and then you've got this nice situation where you got a lot of crabgrass and stuff, and that to me would be the final XXX with the primo. And you're going to make 100 pips off of the close of your Mo trade, which, my God, this Mo trade would be worth just 1 unit of that all the way to the top would be 240 pips. Well, that's a 700, 800, 900 pip chart right there. And that took place over how many hours? No, let's see. It took place about 82, so that's 10, 12, 14, about 12 to 14 hours. And that started, let's see, compared, yeah, this started right after the British opened, somewhere, on a 5-minute chart, we need to get 2 hours or 24 bars. So the British Open is somewhere about right there. And see, look at that head fake right after the British Open. Look at that, and then all of a sudden, man, you've got this nice little shot upward, riding that tiger tunnel right there and bouncing off in between those things. Okay, so there's a little review. You know what these bars are down here for. Every one of these things are for good purpose, and I haven't added that bar, the vertical line thing that appears that Josephine or whoever it was telling me about, that indicator that draws the vertical line there. And I do like that idea. I just have not had time to implement it this week. I'm iced in here. I can't even get out of my house. We've had an ice storm, so my computer, if the electricity goes off, we're dead. So you'll know that if you get a flash and the screen goes black, you'll know what happened. But so far, we're so good. Okay, so much for that. Now I'm going to show you something that I designed strictly for Eusebio. And this is called the Supermax, the 21. And what I did, I removed some of the lines. This is a chart strictly for scalping type situations. The primos and the mos are for scalping. When there's nothing else to do, now let me go get the one that I really like to scalp with. Let me see, this is the euro dollar. I'm going to add the pound dollar. The pound yen or the pound dollar are the ones that really go for this chart. Now you can see I've still got home base there, but all of the tiger tunnels are based on the 21 as opposed to, whoo, look at that. Woohoo, would you look at that? Golly. Okay, this is the pound dollar. Let's go back here. And you see it still ended right there. Let's go back a ways here. I'll just let it run back, and we'll just pick a spot back here to start, go forward. Okay. Now with this chart, the main difference between this and the regular max, this is the super max. When there's nothing else to, you see, you can enter a max trade from any position on the board. When price goes below the 21 line, right there, you can enter that trade as long as the non-lag moving average goes ahead of you there. I'm going to color that a little bit better so I can see it. Well, criminally, it doesn't like it. There it is. Color that a little darker. Okay. Now, when price goes below the 21, you wait. Now, I don't know whether Eusebio does this or not, but this is the safe way to do this. You wait until the non-lag moving average crosses the 21. Right there would be your entry at that point. Now, the reason for that, the non-lag moving average becomes similar to what the MO line is, but they work together. The MO and the NLMA becomes your trading trigger right there. So you wait for that. You wait for the first place price, but you wait for your non-lag moving average to drop through there. You've got this little ledge right here for staying in. Okay. And you see where this takes you. It takes you virtually the same place, but you don't have to wait till price drops down through there to get in with the scale in. So you've got all of these little scale ins and so forth. But this is designed, if this trade bounces here and goes up south, you had a nice scalping trade, actually. And if you get up here where prices poke through right here, you can go ahead and do your, well, where in the hell are they? Well, I must have eliminated a while ago when I was setting this up. Excuse me, let me go find them. Where are my bands? I can't operate without my bands. I am so dependent on Bollinger Bands, it's not even funny. If I couldn't have Bollinger Bands, I would quit trading, believe me. They are that important to my way of thinking on what's going on as a measure of the market. There they are. Okay, and I'm going to take these out, the line ones. I'm going to make these solid so we can really see what's going on this 21 chart. Super scalper. Okay, now, wow, that's better. That's better. Now, for instance, on this Primo here, you could have entered this right here, but see, price hadn't dropped below the non-lag moving average here, and as you can see, the Bollinger Bands have constricted there, so you can tell that something's going to happen, but you can almost already tell that this trade is going to go south. By the way, the 21 lines, everything is right in here is your only danger. You got some danger between. I'll draw a vertical line. My computer's moving a little slow this afternoon. Also, I told you this last session. So see here, till you get. This is your only danger area in this trade here. Everything else is going south from there. You just got to manage the trade here to milk it for all it's worth. But see, you had this right here. Now, if you were in this Mo trade right here, then these tells you to exit right there. The minute you get that bar that high and that far away from the Bollinger Band, the minute that bar closes and this one turns red, you click it out and stop it. You have a nice chance to do a reverse there, but it's a little your reversal is a little far away for a Primo because there's a big distance there because of those two very long bars. So sometimes even with a situation like this is not a good Primo situation. I like to get that non-lag moving average involved in that Primo, as it does here. You would have had a Mo trade here, right there. All your tumblers are in line. All of your tumblers are in line here. You had divergence here. Look at that. Nice divergence there. This divergence here. So you had a nice short Mo scalper. There's your exit. Right there. They both poke through there. I don't know why I think it's not. Let me tell you this. It's not your computer that's causing the problem, and it's not MetaTrader 4 causing your computer problem. It's the fact that this time of day and that where there's so much data going through the MetaTrader 4 platforms all over the world because they're all free, and now everybody in the world that I know of is using a MetaTrader 4 and got a platform open with data running through it. So there's the problem. It has nothing to do with how did I get back over here? Has nothing to do with your computer being slow. And you don't need a faster computer because listen, I can open up my mailbox right now and go over there and everything works just as fast as it ever did, even though this one over here is hung up. So the hang up is the data getting into MetaTrader 4. See, this one just doesn't like me today. Okay, and where were we? Oh, here we were, right here. See that divergence right there, that divergence there for that little trade? And you get up here, and then now you do have a Primo, although it's not really a hot one or a good one, but still you want to take it if you get a chance. You take it right there, and you would end it. Price is still red until you get right. You could ride this as far as it's flat right there. Some here. Oh, come on, computer. When this happens, I can usually go to a different platform, and one of them will be running fast. Okay, but you can see that even though you didn't get much out of it, you got a little profit. You paid the spread, and well, that shows 89 pips. Oh, that's an hourly chart. That's why, for crying out loud. Sorry about that. That's 89 pips. Let's change this to a 5-minute. But the principle works the same on all the various time frames. So now, and that may be why it was hung up. I don't know. Okay, so we're back here a little. Let's go on back a little ways. But you see how price still hangs around through there through home base. If that's not a support line, I will kiss your fanny and give you 30 minutes to draw a crowd. Okay, but see, you still will take your mow when price crosses both the gold and the non-lag moving average. So there's where your mow would begin on that. Well, what happened? I'm back past the Vanini line, but you can see what's going on here. So anyway, and there would be your exit right there. You got that nice doji-like bar, your exit, and price goes down below the non-lag. Now see, you had an entry, you had a setup bar, but you never had an entry bar. Then you get an entry bar over here. It's almost right on top of the, there would be your first place to enter, and that's right on top of the 21 for a max or for a mow trade. So you're certainly not going to take that premium. That's what Mother Nature does. She protects you that way. So you get over here, and then your premium, even though you maybe didn't take that mower, even if you did, you've got a perfect stop and reverse place. There would be your mow entry right there. And again, you can see right there that it's not, that mow is not going to make anything. Now let's draw a vertical line where we did that and see what was going on. See, these were going up, so you had to take that entry. You had your divergence on both of these. And you get right there, you're going to have to get out of that mow trade right there. When price ducks under that and hits that mow line, you've got to stop and reverse right there. And goes all the way down. And I've told you all about the 3 to 5 rule. The rule is, you might want to just mark this down. The rule is price has a difficulty of going more than 3 to 5 bars of the same color. In the Forex, that could be extended to about from 3 to 7. And if you'll notice here, it's rare that you'll ever get more than 7 bars, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. And it went sideways, and then it went there, but you're still safe. So the rule is, as long as these bars, and when it crossed home base, it dropped on through there. See, it took 3.5 bars to get to home base. So it's rare that you'll ever get that many bars, 6 in a row. 7 is about the outside. I think once I saw 8, but from 3 to 7 bars, you're looking for a place for it to bounce, which it did, and right there. But you could still stay with it. Chances are, I would have exited with the lines the way they are, everything the way they are. I would have exited right here. I don't care what that shows me. That bounce there, that thing turning blue after that many bars would have scared me. And as far down as I am, I doubt that could have been a primo entry right there, but you've got to wait until it gets right. I'm having difficulty conquering this little sucker today. Doesn't want to let me lock on that bar. There we go. Your entry would be right there on that bar. When that bar turns blue, you would enter on that bar, and of course you're going to exit at the first sign of trouble, which is going to be right there. Now that bar is still green, but I don't like it on home base. When you get a conglomeration of stuff like that on home base, get out. Wait for the entry, which is right there. It doesn't hang around very long without giving you something to do. So anyway, that was a nice primo right behind that little mow that you didn't make any money on. That was how many mows was that? That was 69 mows, and more than you made yesterday. Okay. Now let's back up and look at these situations here. See, there's your See, the angles like this don't really make the best primos, but you have to make the best that you can. if you've got a primo situation here, you've almost got to take it right there when price goes below those bars, and it ends right there because you've got another Mo. What was that thing that stopped that? You got another Mo entry right here. You go sideways until you get a see an entry. There you are, going up. So your entry would be right there. Then you've got an exit, or at least an MX here. But you really don't have much of an entry because price is hanging right around the 21, so you don't really have a primo entry here. So you never did. You had a setup bar but no entry bar. Now you've got a Mo right behind it, which is a pretty thing, starting right there. When price gets right there, you can see that the price of the non-lag moving average is entering. You've got your doji there, and now look, it didn't go anywhere at all immediately. But see, as long as the bars are sloping downward, look at that 1, 2, 3, 4, and a blank, and then you get 1, 2, and you get a 1, 2, 3. So you get 3 to 5 bars is the most. There's 4 right there. So you ride this on down past here. There's your entry, and you hang on there. And then you got a place to take an MX right here. And I'm assuming I'm using this the same way Eusebio does. We have never discussed this, but from his trades, I know what he's doing. So, Todd, which part looks super risky? You mean this Mo entry here, or? Oh, okay. Well, take my word for it. Try this. This was designed strictly for Eusebio and the kind of trading he's doing. And I've traded with it enough to know that it's really not any more risky than the regular Mo or Max. But the Max is designed to get the long trades. This is designed to get you in and out with 10 to 30 pips every time you get in it. You're taking shorter Maxes. Normally I would exit here, but as long as that line is red, goes down here, you wouldn't have to exit that Max until you got down here. There's your MX, and there's you another MX, and then you've got your ledge right there coming off the 21. When you see that, you got to either right here you have either a remo if you XXX there, or you've got a continuation with the scale in right there. And then that would be, I would exit right there because of the way this is. That's at the bottom, and that's at the bottom, and this is all at the bottom. It tells me it's going to go up, but since I haven't seen a real good trend, the only evidence I have of a longer term trend is the fact that price has crossed, or the 21 has crossed the price line here. And like I say, this is a scalping thing, Todd. It is a little more risky than the 233. I will change my statement. That is true. But this is designed to get 10 or 15 pips before you really get into any risk. Now, normally, if you didn't want any more risk, you get out right there because price usually bounces off of that. And if price even touched the HB or the Mo line, I would have been out of this trade right here instead of waiting and riding it out as far as the non-lag moving average would take me. So, but when you start getting crabgrass, even with the non-lag moving average, it can only hold price down so long. So, and then it bounces up here, and you've got another. And you're perilously close, not perilously, you're deliciously close to home base. So all the traffic, when you get a bounce there, you know that you're going to get a minimum of pips bouncing off right there. You're going to get, look at there, 5 or you get 6 bars there. So it's just giving you enough to stay in there. You got 20 some odd pips there. The price goes back up into there, and so with this mess, you stop. You stop trading. You don't have to play if you don't like the looks of it. Okay, let's back up some. And see, there's you a perfect squeezed in mow entry right there. You don't have to wait for it to come up and cross over the 21 because of the way that it's sitting there. See, you could do this on the 233 chart, but it looks different. So all the lines and everything look different and smoother, and it's moving toward home base, which is where the power is. But we're able to start with this and get 20 pips before, or 30 or 40 pips before it gets to home base. See, there's 25 to 30 pips. This is designed to get 20 to 30 pips, and of course if you catch this, you go right on to the top with it, which would be 70 pips. Same thing here. Now here you got a situation where everything is riding around home base. Well, that's not tradable. You trade coming off of here. There would be your exit if you're in this mow trade right there. And see, it tried to get back to home base. So again, let me remind you that your mow trade or your mow scalp would be here. That goes sideways, but as long as this, if you move your stop up here to the low of that bar, as long as this bar remains, I thought I changed the color of that thing a while ago. Did I not, or did I not? I thought I changed it to green. Oh, it's the red I changed. Okay. So as long as that bar remains green, you don't have any problem. As long as you bring your stop up to here, you're still protecting 2 units at right there. Your 2 units, you're protecting 66 pips right there. You can take an MX here if you wanted to, but I usually don't on the scalps. I just ride them as much as I can. So you get there, and then you've got a remow right here. Now this, inside that inside line there on this, I really am not partial to taking any kind of a trade that's that close to home base on either side of it. I'm going to wait until I get a definitive line. Probably the line would be somewhere around, let me draw the vertical line here, would be somewhere around here after that long bar has taken place, even though that long bar could have supported a mow trade right there. So you don't know where the bar's going here or here anytime you're in that mess there. So I would wait for it and see if this is going to turn into a mow, which you've got a ledge here. Even that doesn't look too good because the ledge is kind of flat. Okay, the ledge is kind of flat right there. And then it's still bumped up right against the non-lag moving average. So I don't know whether I would feel right. I might jump in right here and see what happens. But see, it turns right back in and goes back here until price makes a move that tells me that we've got a chance here when price goes across and touches the other side and comes almost all the way from the other side of the Bollinger Band, as it did here from here to here. That tells me that that's got a good chance to make 15, 20 pips. Now, it's not the mow, it's not the max, it's the super max. And that's designed to pick up 45, 50 pips. Look at this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it right there to home base, and then it snaps, slingshots back up to home base. And if you took this trade, the preemie, right there, if you entered it right there, you can't get hurt because you just got, it's just in too good a position to do something with it. And I don't know how many pips that is, but that's a nice pip if you ride the tunnels all the way down there till to about right there. That's over 200 pips. 256 pips to be exact. And boy, when that thing hits that, notice how it hit that tiger tunnel and then turn around and just bounce right back. And you could jump in, I promise you, and I've shown you this before. If you get a chance, if you can stop and reverse, if there's I think there's an indicator out there. It's called stop and reverse. Let's put the Fibonacci on there. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. See that bounce right back up to the 50% line. right back up to it and hung around there. You could have jumped in there and with all likelihood and made, that's over 100 pips on that bar. But you have to recognize these when they're happening. See, that's 130 pips on the bounce. And it comes back down to your 23.6 line, and then it goes all the way up to that's about the 78% line right there. But still, it bounced to the strong part of the move was up clear up to the 62% line, 62.8. So these are things you watch for, and you don't always catch them. I don't always catch them because sometimes I got my head buried in something on my desk over here that I'm working on. How am I going to get that off there? Yeah, okay. And see, look at this little trade here, and both of them happen to be coming off of the off of home base. Now you see your nice safe max entry would be about right there. Coming off of that, if the price gets up to the outside of the Bollinger Band, you got your tangled up Bollinger Band, and there's your head fake bounce up to there, and there would be your entry right there. And I guarantee you this is going to be at least a 500 pipper. Your exit, if you did it right, it'd either be here or here. There'd be a short pre-mow, but the point is that mow right there, max trade, it's momentum entry with the max trade, is 140 pips. So that's a 600 or 700 pipper over almost less than 4 hours, 40 or 3.5 hours. And if you took them all, obviously I can mark them here. You got scale in there. You got to scale in off of that ledge. You got to scale in off at the end of this ledge. Well, okay, late pop-ins there. You got to scale in there, and you got an MX. Where was I going to mark that MX? I was going to mark that MX about right there. Take a little profit. There we go, somewhere around there. And then you got to scale it when it gets down to there. And this starts going up, so you get pretty brave, and then you would exit you would enter your primo. Right there, when that bar turns red, and it goes under there, and then you would exit at some place when that bar turns blue right there, or even right up there, because the bar turned green dadgummit, why is that? There we go. Until that bar turns green right there, you could exit it on the bottom of that bar. So you didn't make anything on the primo because it's just a situation that it wasn't. And you even had another mow entry right there. You would have exited right, I'm sorry, wasn't paying any attention. You would have exited right there with your new stop and reverse mow. And you didn't make anything on the primo, but you didn't lose anything either. And then you've got another mow. You got another scale in mow, and then you got an exit. And this one is well defined. You got a doji. You got a inside bar right there at the top, absolute perfect exit right there on that red bar. And then you got that primo that goes all the way down there. Now this is a chart. This is not something to set it and forget it like you do a lot of times on the large 233 home base chart. This is a chart that you watch, and it's designed to give you 25 to 30 pip trades, but it'll give you a lot more than that. About every third or fourth trade, it'll give you a whole lot more than that. You see, this trade began there, and if you wait for it to cross home base here, like a good boy, that ledge right there, if you wait till somewhere around there, that's going to give you 200 or 300, 150, 200 pips just by itself. I'm sorry, it's only 36 pips. What did I miss there? 37 pips. Okay, so seeing you had your mow coming up here, going right toward home base. You would ride that thing all the way with your non-lag moving average I hope it's somewhere around there, 45 pips. They're just all over the place. You can't get them all. You kill yourself trying to get them. See, look at that. Just that little trade right there, little scalper mow. Okay, now see if I squeeze this up, you can probably see the trend a little better. You can see your big mows coming off of here. But you'll get all of those with this chart. If you're scalping and you're there paying attention, you'll get all the good mows plus the scalper mows that you would not get on the longer term chart. But you don't have to pay as close of attention on the longer term chart as you do here. Okay, what do y'all think? Give me any naysayers. Give me some naysayers. Load the MACD 363 and watch where the diamonds form when price moves. Yeah. What was the question? When there's a ledge just before the diamond, one scale in break, otherwise I wait the bar closes. Yeah. Yeah, if you have a nice ledge there and that bar turns blue and it's going up that way, you can wait till the bar closes, or you can enter on the bar. The safest way, of course, is to wait till the bar closes. And I draw these lines a lot of times. It's not that I'm trying to slide anything or get it. I'm trying to make a point with the line. It has nothing to do with your entry point. It's always, 90% of the time, it's safer to wait till the bar closes. But when you're in a trade and it's going like this, and you see this stuff happening, you got to take it when you can get it at the most favorable place, which is right there and right there and right there. And so, especially if you have a long bar, wait to get it up there. In a trend situation like that, I want to get in as soon as possible on there. The max scalp looks great. Okay, anybody got any negative comments? I just want to hear them. I mean, it's not going to upset me because I know this thing works for you people who would like to get a little scalping. And when you have an hour or 2 hours to sit down on the computer and you want to do something, put this chart up there. Put it up there. It works. I know that. Now let me get back to the end there. Yeah. And everything works just the same on this chart as it does, except the 21s set things closer to the price and to the non-lag moving average. Okay, those favorable places, let's see, will always be before you see the diamond. Most of the time, yes. Sue, send us the max scalper template. Yes. Thomas Ray, Jim, what's a good charity to send some of the extra money? My favorite charity is the Children's Hospital in Tennessee. Good Lord. I just sent him some money. Craig, what's the name of that? Oh, he can't, he doesn't have his mic on there. St. Jude's, yeah. And then I also, the Smiles, I don't know whether you've seen it on TV, where they take the children with cleft palate and hair lips and so forth and turn them into beautiful kids. I'm really partial to those two charities, and so if you have a few bucks you want to donate, they'll take $10, $20, $50. My former secretary, Tiffany, worked for me for about 4 or 5 months, and her little brother this is 2 years ago, and her little brother got leukemia. No, her little nephew got leukemia, and they took him to the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and the adults and her, she was taking care of him, and so she had to leave, and she went to Tennessee and stayed there. And of course, the hospital provided them with room and board, and all of the information free. Her nephew's father is, I don't know, got some physical impairment, and so they didn't have any money to do all this, and the hospital paid for everything. I do not know how the boy's doing, but he had children's leukemia. But I know that the hospital paid for everything, so I know I've been contributing there for years, and it's just one of my favorites. And of course, I do my best to give love to the church. And I have been blessed. No matter which God you worship, I have been blessed. I know that for a fact. So, anyway, that's it. Smile Train, that's it. And they got a website. Yeah, right. Rickson, thank you very much. FXSOL, big spreads. I had a guy call me, and I haven't investigated this yet. They have 1 pip spreads with no commission. It's FX something. Matter of fact, he was from Tulsa, and he saw that I was from Tulsa and called me, but he's there in Massachusetts. Now, if I can only find my, I can't find my email thing. Anyway, I'll send it out to you guys. I'm going to check it out before I send it out to you. I don't want to be guilty of recommending a broker unless I check it out. And they got an offshore portion and an onshore portion, and I don't know what their financial rating or any of that stuff is, but I believe the onshore portion is regulated by NFA, but NFA doesn't regulate offshore brokers, I don't think. So I don't know. So I'm going to check it out. It's got 1 pip spreads, and maybe it's worthy of messing with. They've got anywhere from 2 to 5 to 500 to 1, 500 leverage. So I don't know whether that's on 10-cent pips or dollar pips or what. So I've got to check into that. That's something I'll do. Now, I want you all to join the graduate group. Craig will be sending you information on it after we graduate. He's got a list of you guys, or he'll send it to the group, and join, and we'll get you approved there. And a lot of stuff goes on. Sometimes there's lots of posts, and sometimes there's not very many posts. We had a graduate session last December for all graduates, and to bring them up to date and get them all the new indicators and stuff like that. And we do that once, maybe probably we'll start doing it twice a year because we're getting so many graduates. And that costs you $25-30, and that money, the most part goes to charity, and it goes to the Children's Hospital and the Smile Train. And then, of course, we pay after our expenses of putting on the program. So we do that, and everybody was pleased with the one last year. At least I didn't have any complaints on that. Nobody chasing after me. Well, there's my little message I sent to you guys. It says I'm here. Okay, any more questions? Any questions on that? Now remember, this for you will be an experiment. We're not going to do homework on it. What I want you to do, if you guys want to, I feel guilty because I meant to tell you, I'm having difficulty with the 21 crossover alert. It has not been working properly. Did I tell you this earlier? Anyway, I've noticed that it just bings, and I told Chris, here it is. Let me add this and show you what I'm talking about. Well, let's make them pretty big so we can see them. And what I noticed about this, let's go to the end of the chart. For instance, this one right here, the dot only appears one time, and it doesn't repaint or anything like that. But it'll bing when this bar closes, and it'll bing and bing and bing. It may even bing when that down bar is. So something is hanging the binger up. So I just removed it from all of my charts. Now, what I discovered, which is just as good, and it doesn't give you as many dots. It's a far better situation from my way of thinking. Is if I can remove these without cussing. The red and green arrows are the Max Marauder that Craig prepared for us. And what I do, I have it set on, and let me show you the settings. You already have a copy of this. Go to the inputs, just for the signals now. I've got it set so that the signals, this is set on 1 on this chart. Actually, you could set it on a little more conservative chart, set it on 2. And when you make this statement true, you have to set this true statement to false. So you can only have one true statement in the 4 places right there. Now let's look and see where these appear with the on the 2 setting. Didn't change much. But these actually pretty much agree with the crosses of the 21. And this is remarkable because Craig and I totally work independently, but we work together. But you see how it hangs in there? So it's actually a lot more steady than the 21 is. So remove the 21 from your charts. Craig and I will get that fixed. He will. I'm just a bystander. And I also have another indicator that I picked up a week or so ago that has 2 moving average crosses built into it, and I do not think that it bings. In other words, when it shows up there and bings, that's the only place it will bing, and that's the only thing that Craig's will bing too. So you already have all of that stuff, and I will send you a copy of this chart, probably just the way it sits. I did something I hadn't done. I reset the 2 obos indicators for this 21. It's different. There's an 8 obos, which is the yellow line, and the green line is a 5. I set them a little tighter to give us better crosses. Let me check and make sure I did that. So the settings are just slightly different. It's the obos 8 oscillator, but I went in and set it at 5. So it's a little tighter to give me better definitions in the crosses, and if you'll notice here, these things are just right on the money, and it tells you when that crosses there, it went up just a few bars later. When that crosses down there, it went up a few bars later. When it crossed there, it went up a few bars later. So it gives you 1 or 2 bar warning, similar to what the SRO does down here. So when those things are in sync, you can bank on that sucker going down. And right there, how many bars is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up, and there were 7 in a row, but almost 10 if that little doji had been that way. So count those 3 to 7 bars on the 4X is about as many as you'll get in a row, so look for a slight reversal after something like that. And you can start looking, especially here. See, it took 13 bars, or 11 bars to get the reversal, but look what happened. It turned you right into a nice primo trade. And by the way, you can wait. You don't have to wait for 3 tiger tunnels on the primo on the Supermax chart. You can do it on very safely on 2, because the way the charts are set, 2 is a long distance. 3 is a real long distance. See, this one way up here that's quite a ways out of there is only 2 tiger tunnels away. So the tiger tunnels setup is slightly different. They're made a little tighter so that they follow price a lot closer than the 233. Okay, I have it. Okay, we're just making sure we await for the cross right. What cross? Linda, I think they are scale ends. Marauder is working fine for me. I'm using actually 7.1 is the current one, and that's the newest one. There was a bug or just a slight something wrong with 7.1. So Chris, if he's got them, I'll have him put those or send those out to you guys. And I'm going to give Chris another plug. Chris is putting these 2 training session things together. One of them is for people who know what the Max MT4 is, but they're not really experienced in the nuances of it. And they should take this course and pay $25, $30 to get it, because it'll teach you how to draw the lines and vertical lines and how to change the color. And a lot of those things are, we get lots of questions every time from people who tell me they know about MetaTrader 4 and they really don't. And especially newbies who take our training should spend $25, $30 with Chris, and have him teach you in person how to do the work with the MetaTrader 4. And also, Shelley, Montana Slim, wrote some training material, and it is on the website, on the Google group, posted there. So if you want to go through it and read it about how to do certain things, it's a little more difficult to read it than it is to have a live session like we have here. And then the other thing he's going to do, which I need to go through because I have never opened that strategy tester yet. He's going to put on about an hour's training on the strategy tester as soon as we get all the bugs out of it, or whoever did it. There's a few bugs in it that I've noticed that people have posted on our group about the strategy tester, some on the graduate group and some on this group. So he's kind of waiting to get that fixed up, and then he'll teach people how to use it. So then you can run things like this through there, which will help you become a better trader. It will reinforce your confidence and the things that it takes to pull the trigger. And listen, sometimes, I don't care, I've been trading now, well, over 30 years, and sometimes I have difficulty pulling the trigger. It just, you stage fright, I guess it is. As much speaking and things that I've done, every time I put on a program for a bunch of clients or 100 or 50 or 30 people, whatever it is, I get stage fright. I get nervous for 4 or 5 minutes before everything calms down. So, and I think anything you can do to build your confidence, listen to that Norman Hallett course thing that he's got. He's got a $69 disc, not the 1200 one, but he's got one for $69 that is a pretty good deal for you guys. And over a period of 2 to 3 years, after you take this max training and you take it, I got a couple, 3 people that have taken it every time. I think they just like to be trained. And Eusebio's taken it every time. And look what Eusebio's done. But he was doing it before. He was doing pretty well after the first 2 trainings, but every time he gets a little something new out of it, he tells me. And Lily, I don't think Lily was in this one. But remember, after you pay for it 4 times, it's free from then on, and scholarship. But remember, that's as space is available, because I'm not going to let the last training we had over 110 people in it before this one, and this one's only got about 80, which has been very manageable. That's a total of 24 graduates, about 25 graduates and 45 new students, and that's a good mix, because we've got enough graduates in there that it makes my job a lot easier, because they do answer some of the questions on the in the homework things. So I want to thank you guys for participating. I hope you've learned something, and I hope you feel you got your money's worth, because you know, I don't do this for the money, but I want to make sure you get your money's worth out of it. And any questions, you just send me an email anytime. I think I'm probably going to have a bonus session as soon as I get and give you guys, I got a couple of new things I want to go over with you guys. So probably in the next week or so, I'm going to have a bonus session for you guys, and we'll review everything that you went through from kind of from start to finish, and that way you'll have it all connected together, all 7 sessions connected on one video, with you know, not much detail, but everything that you've done will be on there. And then the next training starts in February. We're already filled up for graduates. As a matter of fact, we're overbooked by 5, and we got a lot of new people coming in. So if you have any friends that want to be trained and want to do it, get it done right, you know, I'm not going to BS anybody. So if you got any friends that want to be trained, or any groups that you're on, send out a note about it, or send me a note and I'll send them a package. Or you can give them the website, which is, I posted it, but I will post it again for you all. It's on the graduate session all the time for people. And we're going to raise the price for the April training from $395 to probably $445. We're going to raise it a little bit. It's taking more and more time. The more people we get and the more training we get, so it's taking more time, and I want to give the people and the charities more money. People that help me with the training. That's Chris, Craig, and Cynthia, and Montana Slim. They're all my right arms. So have a good day. I'm going to stay home in front of the fireplace the rest of the evening, and probably have a little vanilla vodka gimlet after a while, and read the newspaper. So thanks for participating. Any questions, please feel free to email me anytime. Thanks, and I'm out of here. Oh, any more questions before we go? I'll give you a chance to answer a couple more questions. Go ahead. Any questions? 7.1 decimal, that's amazing, because it should work. You might have the settings wrong, Randy. You got to think about that. When you say something doesn't work, you got to make sure you're following instructions. I had a guy apply for Max 8 training, And he said he's tried 3 times to get in there and nothing he's done to work. And I said, well, did you get a Gmail address with Google like we suggested? Oh, no, I didn't do that. God. If all else fails, follow the instructions. And if you have help on that, Chris or I or Craig can usually give you the right answer on it. Just post it to the group, and especially to the graduate group. And I'd advise you to go join the graduate group today. Okay. Have a good week, and I will see you probably in a week or so with a bonus session.